Yo, yo, yo to the yo, yo, yo for you. I made it. Hi, everybody. All right, so for the first few minutes, for the next 5 minutes or so, please just enjoy the chart while I get some things done out on the social channels, and we'll get started real soon. So just give me about 5 minutes. Be on mute. Okay, you can see how easy that was. We got our link over to Google+, we got our link out to Twitter, we popped out our chat, we started the welcome on the chat, and I think we're good. All right, back on mute for just a couple more minutes. All right, guys. All right, let's just make very quick time of the disclaimer. Thank you very much to the replay viewers. Thank you very, very much. There'll be more indexing on the video today so that we can run through the early part of where we were being quiet on the set, as they would say. But welcome very much. My name is BeautyBubble, and this is your BabyPips.com. Learn cryptocurrency charting. Today's video will be grade 2 lessons, which will cover Japanese candlesticks, and then I'm going to go back into the chart widget and spend a little bit more time with the chart widget if we can get through the candlestick lessons. Generally, what you would find from my channel, if you do decide to subscribe, which would be really great, is that I'm more of a lifestyle channel. It's kind of a puree of beauty, technology, financial markets, fashion, and books. More look at it more like a lifestyle, you know, good living, good people, that sort of thing. But in this video, we will walk through the BabyPips.com site, the beginner's guide to Forex trading, with a special focus on cryptocurrency charting. This is a rapid fire, or meant to be a rapid fire, run through of the course modules and how to navigate the site for maximum results. At times the video may be in audio only or in pause for breaks. That'll go approximately every 10 to 15 minutes, so be prepared for that. As far as content value, on a scale of 1 to 10, there has been no preparation or script written, and the quality of production is pretty low. You know, it's just kind of low tack. So I've pre-rated it at like a 2. So don't get all over me. Maybe they'll get better. Maybe when we roll this back in, the content will be more robust, which is, I think, maybe what people would be looking for. But after we've got the entire content that's archived on YouTube, then we can go back in and roll it in on itself and see where it could use some work. And of course, then the voiceover would have to be redone and that sort of thing. And we can get a script going and so forth. There is no affiliation with BabyPips.com or TradingView.com, which is the charting interface that you'll see me using. And none should be implied by reference or tone of my voice or in the editing of the video. However, should there be an affiliate relationship where commissions or considerations are made to the creator, you, the viewer, will be made completely aware in the description. The voiceover and social channels that I frequent and post openly will have all of those disclaimers. So we'll make sure that we'll follow all of the rules and regulations, terms of service that abide by, you know, coming onto YouTube. You'll notice my Bitcoin address. Most people that are in the cryptocurrency space have a Bitcoin address. That is why that is there. The disclaimer. This is the fun part now. I'm going to try and read this really fast today. Please be advised that all content in the charts shown is meant for entertainment and educational purposes only. Trading the stock, bond, currency, cryptocurrency, commodity, and futures markets can be rewarding, but it is also risky. Be aware that you can lose money and in some ways lose more than you have. It can also be profitable, but not without significant risks. You are responsible for your own independent investment transactions. The charts shown are not to serve as an investment advisory service. I highly encourage you to seek professional advice in regard to your own financial decisions. Information you may get from any chart shown and its further discussion in chat rooms or forums may not reflect my opinions. The charts shown and their content is not a solicitation nor an offer for professional investment advice, nor is it an offer to buy or sell stocks, bonds, currencies, cryptocurrencies, commodities, and or futures. So there we go. We got through that. Maybe I'm pretty sure I can get that a whole lot faster than I am. So that deals with that. We'll go back over here and we'll come up, make sure that everything is, the chat is disconnected. Please wait while we connect you, and so forth and so on. Okay, so we're all good there on YouTube. I'm going to go ahead and close out the YouTube. unless for some reason, we'll go ahead and pop out the chat because we will need it. And we will go ahead and close out the window. And there we go. And we'll immediately get into the BabyPips. But before we get really started, we will go ahead and visit the chart as it sits today. This is the Bitcoin US dollar Coinbase 1 minute chart. The reason being is that now the US market is open. We want to see every day, you know, it can be as early as 6:30 in the morning until the US market opens, and then let it run for about 15 minutes. That would be 9:45 EST, just to see how the money flows are, the health of the bars, how participants are coming into the trade. So we know that we had a little bit of pre-open downward pressure. It hit us kind of hard on the 96 actually. So we're actually down 3.42% or $116.46 already on the session. So, you know, there's a little bit of nervous tension, a little bit for any inkling whatsoever that we would return to the ultimate 3,000 level. I mean, that's, you know, in most rooms that I visit, this is always, you know, you get there, you spend a lot of time getting there, it's an ultimate high, you feel you're euphoric, and then of course it keeps moving and moving and moving to the upside, and now of course we're getting what would traditionally be called a retest. So you'll notice that we have potential interim top at 3278.81. You'll notice in my bigger charts where that potential interim top comes from. I have also other important lines on my chart that you'll become familiar with. I try never to change those lines. Once I put them in, I really try and stick very tightly to those lines where there is interest, where I have interest in price returning there, and then trying to make a decision. Okay? So what we had though today was, as it came back in, and it was retesting what's called the 96 EMA on Ruby. The 96 EMA on Ruby. Even though you're looking at a 1 minute chart, don't get confused. That green line, that emerald line right there, is actually a line that is floating on a 60-minute time frame. So we get very granular with Ruby, get to kind of see how the bars are reacting to all of the EMAs, and we use the EMAs as a guide. That's all that they really are. They're a guide to kind of influence your thoughts about whether or not the trade is long, whether or not the trade is sideways, or whether or not the trade is actually going short. So that's one of the benefits that I have with the way that Ruby is coded. It is a custom indicator, and it is built and acts off of the Pine script editor over at tradingview.com. Okay, and we will leave the window at 3306 flat, down 3.4% or $116.43. You can see that we have some headlines. Payment source veteran Bailey Rutzel joins CoinDesk as the U.S. editor. Sony and IBM team to secure education data with blockchain. BTCE goes Bitfinex. So yes, they did. Bitcoin exchange could issue tokens and bid to relaunch. Please visit my Google Plus if you'd like to see a translation of what they said over at Bitcoin Talk. And I believe I also put the link over at my Google Plus for the direct Russian announcement that they made for BTCE. All right, so those are just some of the news headlines. Make sure that you go to your own news resources where you enjoy, consuming your news. Okay. All right. All right. So there we go. Let's get right into it. Who's ready for some baby pips? Who's ready for some pipsology? If you can believe it, we're already in grade 2, and we will be covering Japanese candlesticks today. And it's interesting that they would say, thank you, Mr. Steve Nissan, for discovering the art of candlesticks. There's a wonderful book by Steve Nissan. He's actually got a couple of books that are out there. But when we're all done, we'll put a nice little, tidy little package of, highly recommended books for you to read and consume. All right, so let's get us into our pop-out chat. So that is the header. We go with that, and then I will give you the unique URL so you can go there yourself if you would like to. And that's how we've been doing it. Seems to work out pretty well, I think, just to keep things organized. But here we go. All right, the first module will be, what is a Japanese candlestick? Japanese candlesticks in Forex trading are used to describe currency price action and can be used for any time frame. Well, let's go ahead and get into the lesson. While we briefly covered Japanese candlestick charting analysis in the previous Forex lesson, we'll now dig in a little and discuss them more in detail. Let's do a quick review first. Japanese candlestick trading. Back in the day when Godzilla was still a cute little lizard, the Japanese created their own old school version of technical analysis to trade rice. That's right, rice. A Westerner by the name of Steve Nissan discovered this secret technique called Japanese candlesticks, learning it from a fellow Japanese broker. Steve researched, studied, lived, breathed, ate candlesticks, and began to write about it. Slowly, this secret technique grew in popularity in the 1990s. To make a long story short, without Steve Nissan, candlestick charts might have remained a buried secret. That's why we kind of prize his work. Steve Nissan is Mr. Candlestick. What are Japanese candlesticks? The best way to explain is by using a picture. So let's study this here. We've seen these candles before in other lessons, but now we're defining that the wick is the upper shadow, the real body, the lower shadow, the high, the close, the open, the low. Same thing here, the upper shadow, the lower shadow, the high, the open, the close, and the low. Japanese candlesticks can be used for any time frame, whether it be 1 day, 1 hour, 30 minutes, whatever you want. They are used to describe the price action during the given time frame. Japanese candlesticks are formed using the open, high, low, and close of the chosen time period. If the close is above the open, then a hollow candlestick, usually displayed as white, is drawn. If the close is below the open, then a filled candlestick, usually displayed as black, is drawn. The hollow or filled section of the candlestick is called the real body or body. The thin lines poking above and below the body display the high-low range and are called shadows. The top of the upper shadow is the high, the bottom of the lower shadow is the low. Next lesson, Japanese candlestick anatomy. Next lesson, Japanese candlestick anatomy. And here we go. All right, we'll grab the header and we'll put it over in our chat box. And from there, we will grab the URL and try and make this really easy. It's getting a little faster too. All right, Japanese candlestick anatomy. Let's break down the different parts of a Japanese candlestick. Sexy bodies. Just like humans, candlesticks have different body sizes. And when it comes to Forex trading, there is nothing naughtier than checking out the bodies of candlesticks. Long bodies indicate strong buying or selling. The longer the body is, the more intense the buying or selling pressure. This means that either buyers or sellers were stronger and took control. Short bodies imply very little buying or selling activity. In Forex lingo, bulls mean buyers and bears mean sellers. Long white Japanese candlesticks show strong buying pressure. The longer the white candlestick, the further the close is above the open. This indicates the price increased considerably from open to close, and buyers were aggressive. In other words, the bulls are kicking the bears' butts big time. Long black filled candlesticks show strong selling pressure. The longer the black Japanese candlestick, the further the close is below the open. This indicates that prices fell a great deal from the open and sellers were aggressive. In other words, the bears were grabbing the bulls by their horns and body slamming them. Mysterious shadows. No, we're not talking about wearing dark, smoky eyeshadow. The upper and lower shadows on Japanese candlesticks provide important clues about the trading session. Upper shadows signify the session high. Lower shadows signify the session low. Candlesticks with long shadows show that trading action occurred well past the open and close. Read that again. Candlesticks with long shadows show that trading action occurred well past the open and close. Japanese candlesticks with short shadows indicate that most of the trading action was confined near the open and the close. If a Japanese candlestick has a long upper shadow and short lower shadow, this means that buyers flexed their muscles and bid prices higher. But for one reason or another, sellers came in and drove prices back down to end the session back near its open price. If a Japanese candlestick has a long lower shadow and short upper shadow, this means that sellers flashed their washboard abs and forced price lower. But for one reason or another, buyers came in and drove prices back up to end the session back near its open price. Okay, that's a big lesson. I think what we'll do is I will make a special note in the chat that we may want to do mysterious shadows. I'm thinking. All right. Next lesson, basic Japanese candlestick patterns. Basic Japanese candlestick patterns. Okay, grab the header and put it over here. And grab the URL and also put it over here. I think what we'll do is we'll take a little bit of a break and I'll take you back over to the chart and I will go ahead and move some things around. We are just stalled out. Goodness gracious me. Okay, we'll be on a break. Okay, let me get back on mic here while we're getting a little bit of volatility that's coming through. We had this earlier before on this potential interim top, the 3277, 3278 area. So we really need to be kind of a little more cautious here. It seems as though it's been knocking and knocking. We do understand, though, that it was prior resistance. It's now become support. So this can be, healthy for price. I guess, if I was to just kind of let you know from experience, I'm not digging the news that's coming out. The BTCE, for example, deciding that it's going to do a fix-it ticket by providing tokens, and I've always had a real problem with this because clearly sometimes businesses, and we read this in BabyPips too, sometimes businesses that have found or fallen prey to irresponsibility don't have a right just because they can to resurrect their business without serious changes. Serious changes, whether it's that that person doesn't do that work anymore, whether it's that the CEO steps down and takes another position, or that there's new blood that comes in, or so many different things. And these fix-it tickets that these exchanges are learning how to do now, and the investors, the traders, are going, okay, because we still want to do our work. So it's really hard, so I'm just not really digging the news, and I don't want to like say, oh, my gut says this, and but there's something that's stacking up here that doesn't feel quite right. And I'm also not so crazy about the criticisms generally about the exchanges. It feels more like the exchanges are actually being treated, at least on the sentiment side of things, as if they're banks. And if they're banks, they need to really start to be very careful. The lip service about how much they care about their clients, and that they've come up with this cockamamie scheme to make the clients whole. I don't know. And of course, I wish that I was much more educated in, the area of economics to, facilitate a conversation around these things. But there's just something about it that just doesn't feel right. There's something about it that almost feels like it's faux, not fraud, but faux, F-A-U-X. It's just, so maybe, once again, sometimes when I open up the just kind of a few words around the conversation, then maybe in a couple of weeks, there'll be a serious conversation, and people will really get a chance to air not only their grievances, their concerns, but what are the real good examples of how these exchanges need to resurrect themselves, or if they even should. So real tough stuff, real tough. I feel horrible. I know a lot of people that have been on the BTCE on and off again, on and off again for years. And so to see this sort of kind of, dirty t-shirt, on the beaches of Greece kind of thing show up, I mean, it's really bad. It's just really, really bad. I don't know, And of course, we don't want these people to hurt and harm themselves, which of course we've seen this season. People that are basically, they become so desperate. We've had a suicide in the industry. People become very desperate. They go dark. And it's not like this doesn't happen in other businesses, but it just seems that, I guess if we were to look back and watch the .com era, if we were to go back to the news and see all the shady stuff that was going on, then that it wouldn't even seem that different. It's emerging commerce, so we're going to have, there's always going to be maybe something that's a little off-putting. All right, so that's that. The trade is at 32.70 flat. We are underneath now the potential interim top. So what was support is now, of course, prices underneath, but we've been there before the open, and so we'll just kind of see how this is going to resolve itself. We are down 4.51%. We're $154.37 for the benefit of the bears. So let's see what they're going to do. They've got what it takes. We will see. Okay, so I'll be back on mute for just a moment, guys. Okay, guys. We know that we are now in the Ruby short. We know that the 8 is holding the close. We know that we are below our potential interim top, which had acted as support, which is now resistance. And I would be counting the 9 bars down at this particular point in time. It looks like it definitely, as we had said before in the mumble, it does look as though they want to kind of show who's boss. And I'd covered earlier, my ideas about some of the way that the news is coming through as well. I have not been over at Twitter for the last couple of moments, so I really can't do any serious projections here, but except just to kind of tell you what the health of the condition is of price right now. We're at 32.50.61, down $170.44, or thereabouts 5% on the downside. And it looks like it's a real fight to maybe keep this at bay. We have had, it looks like, lower lows now from prior to the morning's open. And it's, of course, sickening that we have a delay. I know that over on YouTube we have up to at least a minute's delay. And there's nothing that I can really do about that except for just kind of bring you, what I'm seeing, okay? All right, I'll be back on mute, guys. Yep, they're going to fight it off. That's what it looks like. That is what it looks like. Be interesting. See how they can do it. Get back on mute. We'll know in the next couple of bars actually what they want to do here. Okay, so be patient. Okay, assuming you guys have got a good chart in your view, I'll go ahead and I will take this off of camera, off of screen share, so that I can get some things done, okay? I'll be back though. I'll definitely be back. Okay, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you very much. This has been BeautyBubble for the BabyPips.com Learn Cryptocurrency Charting. And make sure that you check the description box. And once I go ahead and put all of the chat archives into the comments, we'll start to build up some layers of, what are they called? Indexing. The placement of where everything is in the video, and then from there we'll just keep working forward, and then once we're all done we'll fold it back in and see where we can really kind of crunch this down and make it of great value to you guys. But thank you very much, and I will talk to you real soon. Bye. Bye, 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 bye.